In this video, we will review relations between the paths and construction lines in ShipConstructor. We will start with creating a simple plate path. I will create several lines. And using these lines, I will create plate path. Using stock 14 mm steel plate. Then I will make a copy of this part and I will create mirror part using mirror command of ShipConstructor. Now we have three parts, and you can see that copies have the same names and mirror part has the different name. Let us review information about these parts. I select the part and open part information window. This window shows us that this part has identical, and you see it is highlighted on the screen, and also it has mirror part PO2. So these are relations between the parts. Let us review information about the mirror part. You see that this part has mirror PO1. So you understand that there are direct and indirect relations between the parts. Part PO2 has direct relation to part PO1 as mirror, although it also has an indirect relation to this copy, and we will see it when we will start modifying construction lines. I will stretch construction line on the original part. And now ShipConstructor tells us which parts can be modified because of these changes of the construction line. So there are three related construction lines. First one is original and two are copies of this construction line. And on the right side of the screen we see which parts will be modified if we will keep all these construction lines checked in on the left. I will click OK, and you see that all three parts are modified. Now I will make some changes on the mirror part, which has, as you remember, direct relation to part PO1, but this part, original part PO1, has relations to the copy part PO1. So again we see that if we keep all construction lines checked in, all three parts will be modified. And you see it on the screen. Now let us once again make changes on the construction line. But now I will uncheck one construction line on the left side of the screen, of the window, and you see that now path PO2, which is mirror path, will not be modified. It has gray icon now. What you see on the screen now is that two paths which are identical are modified, and path PO2 remains with the previous shape. Now, if I will review path information of the original path, we will see that it still has identical PO1, but there is no mirror path in the list because paths are different. They have lost relations as mirror paths. Although important to understand that even if paths are not mirror at the moment and they have lost relation, construction lines which were not modified still are related to each other. So we didn't touch this construction line for the moment, and it has copy. So if I will change this construction line, we will see that it still has two copies, and if I will keep them both checked in, this construction line will be also modified on the mirror path. So these are two levels of relations. First level is relations between the paths, and second level is relations between the construction lines. Let us delete mirror path and play a little bit more with copies of the paths. If I will add any object to the path, like cutout, I will add object. Again, we see that this path which I am modifying has identical, and if I keep it checked in, cutout will appear on the copy path also. And the same will happen if I will apply corner treatment or I will change stock of the path. Let's change it to 10 millimeters. Again, you see that this copy path has also changed the stock to 10 millimeters. Important to know that relations between the paths can be in one planar group, or paths can be located in different planar groups, and still ShipConstructor will maintain relations between the paths. As example, I will replicate this path from frame 0, in which we are now, to frame 1. Then I will open frame 1. You see the copy of the path, and in frame 1 I will mirror this part over the center line. So if I will review information about this part, we will see that it has identical, which is in frame 0, and mirror part in frame 1. Let us modify part in frame 0, our original part. I will add one more cutout to this part. Add object. I will select this circle, and again we see the window which tells us that this part has identical in frame 1, and this identical in frame 1 has mirror also in frame 1. This mirror part is related to our original part, but not direct. So I will accept modifications for all parts in the list, and we will see what happened in frame 1. Two more construction lines were created in this planar group, and you see that both parts, identical and mirror, are modified.